So I've spent the past few days, I don't even know, 5 days now, um, going through my Google storage. I'm still not entirely done with that, but yeah, I've been posting up a lot of memories and just different stuff from there, freeing up some storage space, sharing with you guys these memories that I've held on to for so long, and yeah, I got a little bit emotional with it. Several reasons for that. Uh, but in any case, I don't know what I want to. I do know what I want to make this channel about. I know there's several things I want to do. I like playing video games, sort of. I used to, but it takes it out of me. Like it takes me back to a place where I would work, I would come home, I would play video games, drink, smoke weed, just ridiculous quantities of, well, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure there's plenty of you that can outsmoke me, and certainly that'll be the case now because I don't at all. Uh, yeah, what else? I don't know. I would come home, I'd smoke weed, play video games, do nothing pretty much, and that went on for years. 4 good years of that. I mean, I would get out and hang out with my buddies and stuff, and some of those videos I've posted up, some of the shorts were from those times. We'd go out to the bar or to each other's places and just hang out, drink, play video games. There was like a lot of good memories, but there was also a lot of bad memories. Me just flipping out. Um, Forrest, he's the blonde one. You might have seen him in some of these, and yeah, we've gotten into it before. I mean, there was this one time I was on one. I was just ranting, about politics because that's where it would really get heated. Some of these nights we'd be drinking and all that, and uh, God, I don't even know what the conversation was about, but whatever it was fucking important to me as usual. And he's kind of like, all right, that's it. But we're at my place, right? We're at my apartment, and he decides like it's about like basically he was gonna cut me off from the beer I bought, and I was like, huh? He picks up what's left of it, starts walking to the balcony, and I don't know what the fuck he was planning to do, but in my head he was about to try and throw my beer over the balcony. I was like, no, 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 no. I went punched him in the back of the head, and then he fucking turns around and tackles me through my. I had these French doors, um, and I had a glass desk on the other side. Uh, just to so like you'd walk through the door and then on the right hand side, or the doors because they're like double doors. They don't really latch. They latch, but they don't. You could just push them open. And yeah, so like he tackles me through that. The door swings open, slams into my desk, shatters my desk. I'm on my back. He's fucking like choking me. I'm just fucking doing the same to him. David's trying to pull him off. Um, yeah, it was fucking a night. I'm fucking like the next morning. I want to fucking kill you, piece of shit. Blah blah blah. Like call him up and um, vacuuming. Oh my god, I was getting. It was this like safety glass stuff, so it broke into these little chunks, but it was everywhere for months. I just find pieces of it all over the place. Oh man, that yeah, that's I like telling these stories because I do remember a lot of it vividly, but God, I got a lot of them. And so yeah, those days though, as interesting as it might be, I don't want to be going back to those days, and sitting there playing video games, just kind of wasting my time. Feels a little bit like that, but there's also like this lack of purpose that I was feeling in that around that time, going through a lot of existential crisis stuff, and yeah, the years went by, and I just wasn't doing much of anything except fixing people's toilets and sinks and um, light switches and whatever, putting up light fixtures, fixing appliances, all the stuff you'd do at a maintenance job, residential maintenance. Um, I need to make a video about my whole work history and like my views surrounding all of that, because otherwise you're going to hear me reference residential maintenance quite a bit, and that's pretty much all I've done since I was well, I don't remember. I was either somewhere between 17 and 19, but I know it was 2017 when I started. I'm just not gonna do the math because I don't care that much about it. So yeah, that's that's why I don't know if I want to go down the route as much with the gaming. Here and there, I think it'd be nice, but I'm mostly doing it to draw views if that's possible. Maybe I'd pick better games and try and be a little more entertaining. Uh, I'm in kind of a rough spot, so that's my energy's not in the best place. I'm between jobs. That last job I was really wanting to do, I could not let somebody like that sit there and tell me how to dress. I'm a grown ass adult. Like, I'm not there to be somebody's doll to sell their fucking product. If I'm not having my shirt tucked, like, I mean, I bought brand new clothes, um, which it's not a thing for me to do that at all. But I got some nice fitting cargo jeans and or cargo pants, some blue jeans, which apparently I wasn't allowed to wear, and I spent like $300 on those clothes. So that pissed me off too. Like, I'd got four pairs of pants. Um, I had already gotten a decent like selection of shirts and stuff recently. I actually went shopping with my neighbor, which was pretty cool. Uh, helped me pick out some stuff that looked good, and yeah. So I went and did all that, and just the last time I got those pants, and what else did I get? Oh yeah, these boots. I got some Timberlands, some new Vans, because I haven't bought shoes in years. So like my shit's falling apart, and I was just like, you know what, I need to do this because I understand they want me to look good, and uh, I'm trying to do the most that I'm willing to do. But to sit there, tuck your shirt in thing from a guy who's making rape jokes over and over and over in the office, it's like, okay, dude, no, you're not a professional. You're a fucking con artist. Uh, at most. Uh, God, that shit grosses me out, man. Like, it's not even the like if I'm talking with a buddy from middle school or high school and we're making a rape joke here and there, it's like we know each other well enough to know that, like, okay, we don't actually think that that's okay, or anything like that. It's just like for the shock value and like, oh my god, that's over the top, but came out of left field. You know how it is. But no, not like about any specific people, or not to say that this guy was making these about specific people. That, yeah, that would certainly be alarming. But just his vibe, like the bravado and shit. I mean, he literally talked to when he called up the supervisor, talked about beating my ass, like because I looked like I was wanting to fight him. And you know how I get down. It's like, dude, if I wanted to have a problem with these, like, I was strapped. It wasn't like I couldn't just, if I was really wanting to, because I don't sit there and fuck around like that. I'm not gonna start a fight with you. Like, if I'm at that point, like, I'm willing to go all the way. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you come at me and I have to just work with what I got, that's a different story. But yeah, if I'm at the point where I'm gonna just like assault somebody, I'm going all the way. Um, Probably shouldn't be saying that here, but fuck it, we're marching forward. Um, What else? So my main thing about doing this channel is bringing, or at least posting the content that I've been posting, not just to share the memories, um, but to draw these views towards Crisp. It's very important to me. I put a lot of time and thought into it, and it means a lot to me because I want to empower disenfranchised people, and I want the work that I'm doing to do that. I found joy in doing maintenance because like I could help people, and people would be genuinely appreciative when you'd fix something for them, uh, or they'd be kind of surprised at how easy something might have been, or you know, like how quick you were able to do something that maybe wasn't as easy. Uh, but you know, you learn something and then you put it into practice over and over, and you kind of yeah. Um, so Crisp, I believe that it can be that infrastructure. There is other organizations that do similar kind of thing. Like I saw Growing Spokane is, or was it Growing Spokane? Or no, there was Feeding Spokane, and then there was Growing Neighbors, which I believe is also based in Spokane. So Growing Neighbors, I think I reached out to them. I did, yes, and I wanted to join with them, but the thing is, they are already like, I mean, they built a garden for like this church in our area, um, and I walked past it, you know, like a few months back after reaching out to them, and I'm like, oh shit, okay. So, yeah, I don't know how many of these they've built, but you know, it's something that I absolutely believe in. I think that they believe in the same sort of thing. I just don't know what their structure is and their goal and their aspirations. I'd like to find out. I'd like to get in touch with somebody who can, you know, sort of fill me in on those details. I want to be more involved in the community, but I don't want to sit there and do the like. I guess in order to be involved in the community, I need to go to a city council meeting or some, you know, neighborhood. No, I'd be fine with like a neighborhood meeting, I guess, like to promote. But the thing is, I'm going there not to talk about like there's a lot of other issues that people seem to jump on because they're kind of like more um, they're kind of like right there as far as being able to approach them. But it's like, for example, if somebody's homeless, they're parked, you know, on the side of the street or something like that, right? And then you've got people like, okay, like how do we deal with this person because we don't want them there? And then, to me, it's just like, well, maybe we could deal with what got them there because it's not like they're not going to come back, and then you're going to further embitter yourself against this person for no real reason except like this suspicion or this uh, underlying snobbery, really. You know, I've felt it as well, um, and then I would think, you know what, I'm in a better off position, and they're not really bothering me. They're doing shit that I would do if I was in that position. If all I had was my car and my speakers, and you know, just pump some music on a Sunday out in the street there to just feel a little better than the circumstances allow. You know, music can do that sometimes, and that's nice. It can fill you with all sorts of emotions. It can change how you react in a situation. I wish I was listening to some music right now, but I feel like it might be a little harder to do what I'm trying to do here. Um, yeah, if anybody's interested in learning about Chris, reach out. You know, I'm all for unions, and that is what I boosted that first video to get to, you know, an audience kind of going surrounding politics and news and that sort of thing, because that's the main realm of Crisp. It is a sort of a social, almost political project, and I want to rally people who are in that mindset to it, preferably in the area, because Crisp needs um, department heads. It needs the board of directors, which is it's a workers cooperative. The board of directors, you could even call delegates, are just another person with different responsibilities, and it's pretty much project managers. They get selected or deselected to manage the project at hand, um, to sort of coordinate the overhead stuff and be something like a representative for the group if there's like sort of if there's issues where the group would prefer to leave that to the representative, um, then that's fine. But if it's obviously if there's like a difference in views, you kind of have to hash things out amongst your relevant department and whatnot. I've never laid out any sort of conflict resolution structure because I feel like, well, we're all adults. I'd be willing to do that if it's highly recommended. I know I talked to Coda, one of the people who I was setting this up with, who helped with the documentation or reorganizing and making the bylaws more accessible, which was really awesome. So, but due to life stuff, they won't be able to help um, as much, and that's kind of been happening. And I get that. It's hard to commit to something like this as well. Not to say that those are excuses and it's a commitment problem, but rather, um, if the Crisp was more built out and significant, you could see that, okay, this is absolutely going somewhere. I intend for it to, but if you can't see that, there's going to be other things that take precedent, regardless of how serious they are. But in their case, no, I totally understand. And I think that there's just other people who have cold feet about it. They might get into it at first and they go to a couple meetings, but it's like, well, is this really going anywhere? You know, the, I can't do much for people who want to overhaul the system as well. Like, for example, one person wanted to switch over to like let's maybe focus in on housing with this, because but it's like, well, it's not a housing co-op, but we can definitely work with housing co-ops and promote them uh and all that. It's just that's a big endeavor to start out on. I want to get there. I want to get into all of the mentioned I want to help with the education unions, like housing co-ops, different various labor unions, and but anything mostly that's essential, healthcare. What else? You get the idea. And of course, anything local food related. If we can work with a farmer who's like ethically, you know, who practices ethically, then we could absolutely, work with them, and they could maybe help set up training modules, because that's something I want to do as well. Best practices, get all these bits of information listed out, and hopefully we can educate ourselves and others to what this is all about. Again, I'm not, I'm learning a little bit with gardening to the specific stuff that's in my garden, and I'm just kind of winging it there. I mostly am going to be in the area of like installations, the digging trenches, laying pipe. Don't make fun of me. Um, God damn it. That's the only place that Crisp will be laying pipe is in your yard. That's it's a Crisp guarantee. So, God damn it, I'm it's going off the rails. uh, but you get the picture. That's what we're trying to do here. So what I'm trying to do here, and I can't do this by myself at all. That's just not going to happen. It's at a place where all we really need is the board members, people who are willing to review the bylaws. And I mean, you can, it's a digital document, so you can Control F, keyword search for whatever it is you're looking for. There's a table of contents. If you're concerned about this area or that area, you don't have to. You, I, you should read the whole thing, um, but you can also refer back to it whenever it's necessary. Uh, you'll probably want to do any of that in advance of whatever it is you're doing it for or concerned about, just for the sake of not. You don't want to wind up agreeing to something that you haven't read through, obviously, but I know how it is. Um, we're not going for your soul or nothing, so feel free to just search through it and be familiar with it, because it's also going to determine how voting occurs. That's a big part of it. You're going to want to know how decisions get made. Um, Everybody is equal ownership, so the delegates or the board members, they don't really have much more. There's not really an authority per se there, except to determine, setting up like jobs and whatnot, how the jobs are to be performed, sort of upholding the values of the organization. But it's nothing that's like, as far we're not going to be telling people how to dress. Now, if it's like ridiculous, then obviously there's where, but yeah, it's like if you're coming to work with ass chaps on or whatever, yeah, then you fucked up, and that's just not. There might be a change of clothes ready for you, and if you lose now, if that course of action like turns people away, or that's like getting a bunch of bad heat on the company because you showed up to somebody's house looking like a freak, then that's then there might be like a vote that takes place. But it's not up to me. It's not up to any individual. It's like a team effort, right? So that's what I like. If somebody has an issue with something somebody said, like for example, let's say that you were just trying to get to know a person. You asked them about their background or their ethnicity, right? Now, of course, in a time like this, that could be kind of depending on how you go about that, how well you know them already, or the rapport you have, I should say, with them already, that sort of thing. Um, but if there's just somebody who's like totally takes offense to it with no regard to your former or your previous rapport or anything like that, and they just want to like, hey, I feel fucking whatever about because this person, is like, no, there's no person that you're going to be going to for that. You can talk to other members about it, and if there's like enough people that are like, yeah, this person that was totally uncalled for or whatever, then there's a number of people you can then put forward we sort of be in agreement, petition, whatever, a number of people in the organization to then put forward a vote on addressing this as an organization. If you don't meet that threshold, then it's kind of like, okay. And I think it's some percentage of people within the department or within the organization as a whole. I don't remember, but that's a rough idea of how that would work. And of course, a vote can take place to change how that works. So, hopefully, I've laid out some points of interest there, and maybe we can have a broader discussion on this. This is what's most important to me, so I look forward to it.